Against all odds, the Ringbearer has found his way into the black land of Mordor, but a dangerous journey still lies before him, and the Eye of Sauron yet searches for the spies who escaped from Cirith Ungol. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Line Unbroken, my progression-style playthrough series of The Lord of the Rings, the card game. I am coming to the end of my saga campaign with the third and final quest from the Mountain of Fire saga expansion, Mount Doom. So, campaign pool of Combat Grief is over here. Both decks are at +3 starting threat. We have Noble Hero on Frodo. Obviously we have the One Ring on Frodo. Heavy Burden also on Frodo. 3 Golden Hairs on Galadriel. Old Bogey Stories on Frodo. Hoton Bombadil in the first player's hand. And these 3 Treacheries in the encounter deck. Campaign setup. Each player may change heroes they control without incurring the +1 threat penalty. Place X resource tokens on this card, where X is the number of resource tokens on the Black Gate as recorded in the campaign log, so that's 7. Remove each burden with the following burden set icons from the encounter deck. Forced at the end of the round, remove 1 resource token from this card. Then, if there are no resource tokens here, the players lose the game. Regular setup. Again, add Mount Doom, the Tower of Barad-dûr, to the staging area. Make a Break of Thorns the active location. Each player searches the encounter deck for a different location and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. So, moving these across. The locations I'm choosing are the Old Watercourse and the Mordor Road. I'm going to shuffle these ones away and just go across. So, the Tower of Barad-dûr. Players do not raise their threat at the end of the refresh phase, which is poor phrasing because they already don't. They raise it at the beginning of the refresh phase. Forced at the end of the round, each player raises their threat by 1 for each non-fellowship character they control. So obviously, it's meant to cancel the threat raise at the beginning of the refresh phase and replace it with 1 for each non-fellowship character. So 3, 3. If I play my 1 ally, Rosie Cotton, it will be 4 threat per round for this deck. Mount Doom. Immune to player card effects. X is the tens digit of the first player's threat dial. The players cannot travel here unless there is at least 20 progress on stage 3B. Travel. Each player makes a Fortitude Test. If a player fails this test, raise their threat by 9. The Old Watercourse, while it is the active location, it gains response. When Old Watercourse is explored, reduce each player's threat by 5. That's why I want it. Also, there's only 1 of it. And it's only 2 threat. Travel, each player must exhaust a hero they control to travel here. Mordor Road gets +1 threat for each ally controlled by the player who controls the most allies. And forced, after it becomes the active location, each player discards the top card of the encounter deck. Add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. And of course, the Break of Thorns. While it's in the staging area, add an Eye of Sauron to each Fortitude Test. The Fortitude Tests are kind of like hide tests from Shadow of the Past. You exhaust, it has to be you exhaust heroes. You discard a number of cards equal to the tens digit of your threat dial, and then compare your willpower to these the number of Eye of Sauron icons, which you can see in the bottom left corner of the Break of Thorns here. And you have to exceed the number of eyes. If you just equal the number, then you still fail the test. Forced, after Break of Thorns, becomes the active location, which it just did. Each player assigns X damage among characters they control, where X is the tens digit of their threat dial. So that's 2 damage here and 3 damage here. Flip this over. Frodo and Sam gazed out in mingled loathing and wonder on this hateful land. Between them and the smoking mountain and about it north and south, all seemed ruinous and dead. A desert burned and choked. Dire. This stage gets +4 quest points for each player. The first Treachery revealed each quest phase is immune to player card effects and gains Surge. Control N. Begin the game. This deck draws an extra card for Círdan, and I will discard the Long Defeat. I didn't mulligan either hand. This hand doesn't really have what I was looking for. Because what I really wanted was a Bow of the Galadrim for Haldir, or failing that at least a Dunedain Mark. But I really didn't want to pass up the one of Brace of Conies, and there is other good stuff here. Wraith of the Shire is good to start with. Fellowship of the Ring, of course, is great. Friend of Friends, okay. And here I started with Nenya, which is the mulligan card for this deck. And now I'm going to immediately trigger the 3 golden hairs. Add them to the victory display and remove them from the campaign pool to lower each player's threat by 3, then each player draws 3 cards. Obviously, since this is the last quest in the campaign, there is no reason to save this boon any longer, and if I lower my threat by 3 and draw 3 cards later in the game, I will have the same threat and the same cards as if I did it right now, but I will not have had it in the intervening time, so it's best to just do it instantly. 3 more cards, still no Bow for Haldir. And of course, I generally feel that this is a very good time. It makes a lot of sense to save the 3 golden hairs for this quest and then use them immediately, because your threat is very significant in this quest for reasons of the Fortitude Tests. And so now, obviously, I want to play Brace of Conies as well. So, choose 2, heal up to 2 damage from a hero, add 2 resources to a hero's pool, choose a player to draw 2 cards, or reduce a player's threat by 2. I'm inclined... I definitely want to take the cards, and then either the threat or the resources. As noted, threat is very significant in this quest, so giving myself a bigger buffer on it could be significant. On the other hand, just being able to play more cards quickly. So, yeah. Because there's no risk of me hitting my threat elimination level, really. I don't have enough characters for the threat raise from the Tower of Barad-dûr to get me up there in the 7 rounds I have to complete the quest. So I'm going to take the resources and the cards. Add 2 resources to Sam. Actually, I guess I could add them to Frodo. But no, it's fine. Draw 2 cards. Play a We Are Not Idle. Draw another card. There's a Bow of the Galadrim, so I'm definitely playing that onto Haldir. Whatever else I may be doing, I'm definitely doing that. I'm using Frodo's planning action, exhaust the 1 ring, to add a resource to a hero's pool. I add it to him so he can play Fellowship of the Ring. He, of course, is already +1 willpower from the Noble Hero, and then that's an extra willpower for all the heroes. And play Campfire Tales. Draw more cards. Okay, that's certainly interesting. I play We're Not Idle to draw another card. Okay. I guess I will play the Dunedain Signal onto Nasir. I shouldn't need it, but it's just in case. And then I could play Friend of Friends. So the first copy of Friend of Friends is useless, but of course I have copies over here as well, so I can get straight to 2. Over here, Light of Valinor would be good on Círdan, so he can quest and be available for Fortitude Tests. Nenya is really significant. There's no way I can afford Gildor's Council. I should save a resource for Test of Will, because even though the first treachery revealed each quest phase is immune to player card effects and gains Surge, I could reveal a second treachery which would not be immune to player card effects. And the treacheries can be pretty bad. So, the long defeat is nice but not urgent. Gildor's Council is the only thing I really want my law resources for. So, yeah, okay, so I guess I'm not getting Friend of Friends right now. There is a treachery which could cause me to discard my hands, so maybe I should play Friend of Friends right now. This copy of it, at least. And over here, Light of Valinor on Círdan. And Nenya on Galadriel, because of course this means she can apply her willpower to questing, of course, but also she can apply her willpower to anyone who is making a Fortitude test during the quest phase. And other than this travel cost, and there might be one other travel cost that's a Fortitude test, there's no, other than possibly one or possibly two travel costs, there's no reason that you would make a Fortitude test outside of the quest phase. So, right, a heavy burden. At the end of the planning phase, either raise each player's threat by one or exhaust the ring bearer. So, let me consider this. Threat in the staging area is 2, 4, 5. I definitely want to at least clear the Break of Thorns, which is 3 quest points. And I want to have people ready for possible combat and also possible Fortitude tests. So I think I probably have to take the extra threat for that reason. Another thing I would have liked to have had in this hand would be a fast hitch, for this exact reason. And then I'm going to keep Frodo up for possible Fortitude test quest for 4, 7, 12. And reveal. Okay, drawn to the ring. The first player must choose either exhaust the one ring and reveal an encounter card. I can't do that because the one ring is already exhausted. Or discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded and put it into play engaged with them. Also, I can't cancel this because it is immune to player card effects and it gains Surge. So, discarding until I get an enemy. That's nice. It's the weakest enemy I could have gotten, and it is added, not revealed. I get to ready Sam and add a resource to Mablung. Sorry, that was my threat. I meant to add willpower. I could also immediately play Raise the Shire. So, yeah, Raise the Shire, response after you engage an enemy, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Hobbit ally and put it into play. Search your entire deck instead if that enemy's engagement cost is higher than your threat. Shuffle your deck at the end of the round. If that ally is still in play, return it to your hand. I suppose the only reason why I might not want to do that would be to save the resource for a feint. But, oh no, I absolutely want to do this. Because the only reason I would... So Haldir with a bow can one-shot the little Snuffler before it attacks. The only reason I would want to feint would be if I engage another enemy, but then Mablung would gain another resource to play the feint with. So, I play Raise the Shire, I search my entire deck for Rosie Cotton. There she is, and put her into play. Shuffle my deck, and at the end of the round, if she is still in play, she will be returned to my hand. So that treachery is resolved, but it surges because of the quest card. This one is not immune to player card effects. Each player must choose either discard a questing character you control or raise your threat by 1 for each questing character you control. That's not a lot of threat, though. 2 and 1. You know, there's a part of me that wants to cancel it just because with, you know, this immune to player card effects, you know, I kind of want to cancel treacheries when it's possible for me to cancel treacheries, but this is so benign, relatively. Okay, Little Snuffler, which surges and when revealed, either raise your threat by 1 for each ally you control or discard an ally you control. But this is the card for the second deck, which has no allies. And the Lidless Eye, when revealed, make Fortitude Test. If the one ring is exhausted, add 2 Eyes of Sauron to the test. If you fail this test, raise your threat by 10. This I could cancel. I could also probably just make the test. So, yeah. It is, again, it's this deck. I'm discarding 3 cards because this deck has 32 threat. I add 2 Eyes. But, okay, so I exhaust Círdan. He is 5 willpower. I discard 3 cards. It's 1. Adding 2 because the one ring is exhausted. 3 Eyes versus Círdan's 5 willpower. So I pass the test. Okay, so with all of that, I've added 1 threat to the staging area. I'm making 7 progress. I could go for a bit more, potentially. Because obviously I've got Nenya, I've got Rosie, but on the other hand, maybe I think I'm pretty happy with this, so I'm going to just leave it at that. I think explore the Break of Thorns, and then I'm going to travel to the Old Watercourse. The travel cost is each player must exhaust a hero they control. This is fine. I will exhaust Sam and Galadriel. And then in the encounter phase, I will engage this Little Snuffler, adding a resource to Mablung and readying Sam again. Sam is now up to 3 attack and 3 defense. Deal shadow cards. Haldir can use his ability to preemptively attack one of the Little Snufflers and kill it. Now, so it takes 5 to take out a Little Snuffler. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to defend with Frodo. Shadow card says, if this attack destroys a character... Okay, so Rosie, action, exhaust Rosie Cotton to choose a Hobbit hero and an attribute, willpower, attack or defense. Add Rosie Cotton's willpower to that hero's chosen attribute until the end of the phase. Limit once per phase, so I add her willpower to Frodo's defense, making him 4 defense, he takes no damage. Sam is 3 attack, Nasir is 2 attack, the Little Snuffler is dead. And... okay, so timing-wise, Frodo crosses the table. Technically, so does the first player token. I do not raise my threat. Per Raise the Shire. At the end of the round, Rosie is still in play. She is returned to my hand. This is a passive effect, which happens before a forced effect. Now, I trigger the forced effect, and each player raises their threat by 1 for each non-fellowship character they control, but Rosie is already gone, so it's only 3 instead of 4. Since I'm about to hit Control N, in fact I'll just do it, that automatically raises my threat by the 1 that I would usually get at the beginning of the refresh phase, so I'm just going to add an additional 2 to each deck. This deck draws an additional card for Círdan. Okay, I already have 2 unexpected courages in my hand. I'm going to keep the Ancient Madam. Oh, and I remove a resource from the campaign card here. Okay, this seems pretty good. So let's see, I can afford to play Gildor's Council this round. That's a thing. I probably should use the planning action to get an extra resource. It's important to build up my board state early, I think. So I quite possibly want to just play Rosie now. Having fished her out with Raise the Shire. Obviously, I have more copies of Raise the Shire, so I could do that again if I draw them. But on the other hand, it may be better to just have her in play all the time. In fact, well, obviously it is beneficial for me to do that. The only reason for why it could be beneficial to wait until I draw another Raise the Shire is that it's effectively more card draw. But I found the most important things. It would still be good to draw more cards. I could use a good harvest to play Rosie with tactics resources. If I engage an enemy, I will gain a resource on Mablung, so I can still play a feint. I might want the Halfling Determination. Unexpected Courage is really good, obviously. But yeah, okay. So I want to play Gildor's Council. Gildor's Council is really good. Beyond that, that uses up these 3 resources. I have nothing else to spend Frodo's resource on, so let's play Friend of Friends onto Sam. So that's an extra willpower, attack, defense, and hit point for both Frodo and Sam. So they're both up to 5 willpower at base. And yeah, they're both pretty strong here. So I think I use Frodo's planning action to add a resource to Sam so that he can play Rosie. I'm saving my law resources to play Gildor's Council. It's not out of the question that I advance the quest here, in which case it would be nice to have the long defeat on it, but that would require me to use Frodo's ability here. Yeah, okay, no. Right. I lost my train of thought. So, yes, friends. Right. Yes, so I use the One Ring to add a resource to Galadriel. I play the Long Defeat onto the quest card. I'm saving a resource for a possible test of will. I play a good harvest, naming leadership, and play Rosie. And okay, that's it. Again, I raise threat for a heavy burden. Threat in the staging area is 3, 5. I have 1 ally, so Mordor Road is gaining 1 threat. And I am playing Gildor's Council, so I will only be revealing 1 card, which will be for this deck, which means that this deck cannot be forced to make a Fortitude Test, so questing 5, 8. 13. Yeah, I guess we're just pushing through here. 18. And revealing Golem. Surge, immune to non-fellowship player card effects. Golem engages the first player. And the force doesn't apply right now, but forced after Golem is discarded during a Fortitude Test, put him into play engaged with the first player, then choose an encounter card discarded for this test and ignore its Eye of Sauron icons. But he surges into Plane of Golgoroth. If a player has failed a Fortitude Test this round, Plane of Golgoroth gets +2 threat. Travel, the first player makes a Fortitude Test to travel here. If they fail this test, raise each player's threat by 4. So that's 2 threat added to the staging area. So I make 11 progress. I need 2 more, because this is +4 quest points per player for a total of 12. So I can exhaust Rosie to add 2 willpower to either Frodo or Sam. And that is enough. Meaning I can save Galadriel to use her ability. Which deck do I want to draw more cards? I'm going to save this one. Dunedain Mark is good. I want it for Haldir. So now, Old Watercourse, while it's the active location, it's explored, reduce each player threat by 5. So 27 and 31. And then I've explored the quest. I think technically I resolve quest advancement before resolving the long defeat, so I'll just put it there. They had gone some miles, and the road was at last running down a long slope into the plain, when Frodo's strength began to give out and his will wavered. He lurched and stumbled. Desperately, Sam tried to help him and to hold him up. Dire. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile and victory display for Mordor Road, and add it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and travel to Mordor Road. Because I already have a Mordor Road in the staging area, but I have to get another one. So, where are we? Mordor Road. Then I shuffle the discard pile into the encounter deck. And travel to Mordor Road. After it becomes the active location, each player discards the top card of the encounter deck, add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. So, damn. That is really awful luck on my part. But, okay. Yeah, this is very swingy, because you get an active location and you could get 1 enemy per player, or you could get nothing. Okay, Dire. Forced, after placing progress here from questing successfully, each player makes a Fortitude Test. If a player passes this test, they place a resource here. If a player fails this test, they discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an enemy is discarded and put that enemy into play engaged with them. At the end of the quest phase, if the number of resources here is equal to or greater than the number of players, advances to stage 3A. And so now the long defeat. After attached quest is defeated, each player either draws 2 cards or heals up to 5 damage from among characters they control. So I don't have 5 damage on either side, so I'm just going to have both decks draw 2 cards. Okay, that is pretty nice. So now let's see. I need to clear out some of these enemies. big Uruk is going to be more of a problem. So I think I have to leave him, but engage the little Snuffler, which adds a resource to Mablung, and ready Sam. Deal shadow cards. I'm wondering if I should just take Golem undefended. Oh no, wait, let me no, I actually can't take out Golem here. Because Haldir is not actually 5 attack. He's 5 attack when he's attacking enemies not engaged with him. Attacking an enemy that is engaged with him, he's 4 attack, so for 6 is not enough. So with that being the case, I should just defend with Círdan. Defending player discards 1 card at random from their hand. Okay. Random discard. Test of will. Okay. Of course, I can't use Haldir's ability because he was engaged by an enemy this round. But he can participate in a ranged attack. So, yeah, I guess I should just defend with Nasir. 3 attack against 2 defense. I think I just let her take the damage here and save the resources for later. Then I can attack with Sam and Haldir, take out the little Snuffler. I suppose I didn't even need Sam for that. Okay. Discard that shadow card. Golem comes over here. Mablung gets another resource. This deck gets an extra 3 points of threat now. And this one that's still the 2, control N. Extra draw for Círdan. Oh, both of those are duplicates. So I guess I'll discard Friend of Friends. Alright, that Orc Disguise could be useful. Potentially. So could Speak Your Promise. I'm somewhat inclined to hold out for Speak Your Promise. I think I Good Harvest Leadership again, so then I can play Rune Master onto Mablung. Play the Dunedain Mark onto Haldir. That's no, hang on. Play the Campfire Tales first. Okay. Just gonna do everyone's runes here. And then, yes, Dunedain Mark onto Haldir. Exhausting Rune Master to add a resource to Haldir. And that should be it. So now over here, I definitely want this fast hitch on Frodo. Ancient Matham be good. Sword Unexpected Courage, obviously. Yeah, okay, I'm thinking Okay, I don't have a test of will to be saving for. I can play Strider onto Galadriel, because again with Nenya she can add her willpower anywhere, so give her the +2. Play the Unexpected Courage onto Haldir to make sure that my combat is good, and play the Ancient Matham. Seems about right. Okay, questing. End of the planning phase. I have to exhaust the Ring Bearer or raise each player's threat by 1. If I place progress here, each player has to make a Fortitude test. I might want to just take the threat, since I also have multiple enemies to deal with. So, okay, threaten the staging area. 3, 5, 7, 9. Questing 5, 10, 15, 18. How does 18 sound? Against 9, 5 progress needed to clear the location. Sure. Reveal a little Snuffler, which surges, and this is for this deck, so I guess I raise my threat by 1 for my 1 ally. And the Lidless Eye make Fortitude Test. So on this quest stage, the first treachery, each quest phase is not immune to player card effects and does not gain surge. Right now I'm making 8 progress. So I will be making progress on the quest stage, which means I will be making the Fortitude Test, which means I kind of don't want to make additional Fortitude Tests. So I think I use Ho Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil turns away the Lidless Eye. This also means I feel pretty okay about possibly using old bogey stories. So yes, I make 8 progress. Oh, I should have removed another resource from the campaign card. So that's 5 progress here and 3 here. Each player now makes a Fortitude Test. So 5 willpower, 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Passed. Also 5 willpower, also 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Both tests are passed. So I place 2 resources here. And then at the end of the quest phase, the number of resources here is equal to or greater than the number of players. It is equal. Advanced stage 3A. The last stage of their journey to Arodruin came, and it was a torment greater than Sam had ever thought that he could bear. He was in pain, and so parched that he could no longer swallow even a mouthful of food. Dire. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until X locations are discarded, where X is the number of players in the game. Add each location discarded this way to the staging area. I really have to hope that I'm not just location locked. I mean, my willpower is pretty good, but it's not that I could be fully location locked, but I could end up with just so much threat here that I can't get through quickly enough. The Break of Thorns and a Plane of Gorgoroth. This old captain is discarded. Okay. Dire. The first treachery revealed each quest phase is immune to player card effects and gains Surge. Forced at the beginning of the quest phase, the first player makes a Fortitude Test. If the first player fails this test, no more than 5 progress can be placed here this round. This stage cannot be defeated unless Mount Doom is the active location. And of course I can't travel to Mount Doom until I have 20 progress there. So I have to make 20 progress and then travel, and that will move me forward to stage 4, which is the final stage. So I am not actually below the engagement cost of this little snuffler anymore. I am of course below the engagement cost of the big Uruk. Okay, so alright, so I should use Galadriel. Right. Hobbit Pony is good to see. Now, okay. So I should travel, of course. If I go to the Break of Thorns, then I have to take damage. And I haven't been healing at all. It's still possible for me to take that damage. And it is the highest threat of the locations, so long as I don't fail a Fortitude Test. But also I would have to make a Fortitude Test to travel to the plane of Gorgoroth, so I guess I go to the Break of Thorns. Now, I have to engage the little Snuffler. I don't have to engage the big Uruk, but I could. I have Speak Your Promise available. If I engage the big Uruk, I will have to raise my threat by 4 to avoid the immediate attack, but also I will ready Sam, who would then be 3 attack and 3 defense. Haldir has this unexpected courage. At range, he is 6 attack. So he can one-shot the little Snuffler. And he could help take out Gollum or the big Uruk. The other point with engaging the big Uruk would obviously be just getting it out of the staging area. This would also be a good time to use that feint. So, okay, I think it's possible that I'll get to figuring out how the combat goes and decide this was a mistake, but I think I should engage both enemies. So for the big Uruk, I have to raise my threat by 4 to avoid the immediate attack. Now, Haldir will take out the little Snuffler before it can attack. I can feint the big Uruk. And I can play Speak Your Promise, readying Frodo, comparing his, because Gollum rather is immune to non-fellowship player card effects, so this still works. And yes, I'm choosing Gollum. The Ringbearer's willpower is greater than his threat, so I reduce, and the difference is 3, so I reduce his attack and defense by 3. I take the attack undefended. Attacking enemy makes an additional attack after this one. That's fine. He has 0 attack. I take it undefended again. +1 attack. Okay, but that's +1 and -3. So he's still 0 attack. All modifiers are applied and recalculated when additional modifiers are added. So it takes 8 to take out the big Uruk and 7 for Gollum. I definitely want to get rid of Gollum because he jumps across the table and it's annoying. Though the big Uruk is more dangerous. How much attack can I manage? I have access to Halfling Determination and Rosie and Nasia's resources, so I should be able to take out both of these one way or another. Frodo is 2 attack because of Friend of Friends, so okay, Frodo and Haldir make a total of 8 and can do the big Uruk. Sam is 2 at base and has engaged an enemy with high engagement cost this round, so 3, 5, boosting Sam 7. Okay. This looks good. This deck gets 3 extra points of threat. This deck gets 2 extra points of threat. Frodo is over here now. I remove a resource. Control N. Test of Will. I might get to play that. Or second draw. Honestly, I might discard the Test of Will because I'm a little concerned about how much healing I don't have and all this damage. And it's possible that I could end up just not able to use the Test of Will. I don't know. It's what did this deck draw? Also, did not draw a Dunedain Remedy. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to discard the Test of Will. And then I'm going to put the Lembas onto Círdan, I think. It's Círdan or Mablung. Unexpected Courage should go on Nasia, I think. Because I think I have enough willpower. This Hobbit pony onto Frodo. I think that I have enough willpower for all the Fortitude tests. I just want to make sure I don't get killed by enemies. Maybe I'll find that I'm wrong about that, but that's how I feel. So there's 3. Yeah, I'm still taking the threat from a heavy burden. And okay, so threat in the staging area 3, 5, 7, 9. And I have to make a Fortitude test. First player specifically has to make it. I could just do Círdan actually, because obviously, so the timing is wrong for this, right? It's at the beginning of the quest phase, which is before you commit to the quest, so Light of Valinor doesn't help. But I just put the Lembas on him, so I can ready him after he does it, and I want to heal him anyway. So I think I just do that. I put Círdan on the Fortitude test and then ready him with the Lembas and heal him. Discarding 3 cards. 2, 5. And as I mentioned, a tie is a failure. But there is an action window after you discard the cards before resolving the test, so I can use Nenya to add Galadriel's 7 willpower to Círdan's, so I have 12 against 5. Yeah, that card is obviously pretty bad. And of course Círdan is now also going to quest, so so I have 12. I can hold back Frodo and commit him later with the Hobbit pony. 15. Actually, no, I should put this unexpected courage on Sam. Between feints and Haldir's ability to preemptively attack, 12, 15, 20. 20 willpower. I reveal. Ringwraith of Sauron cannot have non-Morgul attachments. While it's in the staging area, it gains Forced. After a player fails a Fortitude test, Ringwraith of Sauron engages that player and makes an immediate attack. And Orc Captain, forced after he engages, you make a Fortitude test. If you fail this test, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. Okay, that's added 6 threat to the staging area. I can add Frodo to the quest for an extra 5. I can add Rosie's willpower to either Sam or Frodo for an extra 2. 12 progress. Okay. Obviously, I could have gotten more with Halfling Determination, but I feel like that's enough. At Haldir's present attack, it would take 3 rounds to kill this guy in the staging area. 4 for this one. I am below the engagement costs, and neither of them is immune to player card effects, so I can feint them. Or I could use the Orc Disguise, though I guess it would be maybe better to... In general, it's better to engage here, and then Haldir could attack one in the staging area as well as killing the other with the assistance here. So, obviously I should travel. I would have to make Fortitude Tests, well, a Fortitude Test rather, to travel to the plane of Golgoroth. But I could probably do that, actually. Yeah, okay, so let's travel to the plane of Golgoroth, sending Círdan and Frodo on the Fortitude Test because they're not doing anything else. So that's 10 willpower, discarding 3 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's plenty. I pass the test. Now let's engage this Ringwraith. Sam gets boosted, but he was already ready. Mablon gains a resource. Deal a shadow card. Haldir uses his ability to attack into the staging area and do 2 damage to the Orc Captain. The Ringwraith is attacking for 6. I could actually defend with Narcia, because she has 4 resources to boost her defense, but what else are feints for than Ringwraiths? Now, Sam is boosted, so 3, 5, 11. I need 13. I can pay a resource from Narcia. That's the other reason not to use the feint instead of defending. That brings me up to 13 attack. There goes the Ringwraith. Extra threat. Both decks are into the 40s. Remove a resource. Control N. Second bow of Galadrim. That's great. That means I can kill this guy in the staging area this round. Now this deck needs its extra draw for Círdan. Discard Fellowship of the Ring. Now let's see. Okay, I only have 5 cards, so I can't trigger Old Bogey Stories. That's okay. These are decent cards anyway. Halfling Determination and Feint are very nice to have. Speak Your Promise could be useful. So I don't think I'm playing anything. The only thing I could play is the Orc Disguise, and I already have one. Oh, over here I am playing the Long Defeat onto the quest card, and that's it. Nothing else needs doing. So, okay. Yeah, I have to make a Fortitude Test, and then I could end up having to make another Fortitude Test from card reveals, so I will just keep taking the threat from a heavy burden. I would need more fast hitches before I felt comfortable not having all of Frodo's actions. Then he is going to do this Fortitude Test. So that's 5. I'm discarding 4 cards. 4, so only 1 icon, so that's definitely passed. I can make as much progress as I like. So questing 5, 8, 13. Threat in the staging area is 4, 6, 8, 11. So yeah, this doesn't look good, obviously, but you have to remember that I have the Hobbit Pony and Rosie and Nenya to add in. Still might come pretty close, but I think I can make this. Orc Hold. I should say, while it's in the staging area, progress can't be placed on other locations in the staging area, and after it becomes the active location, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck, discard cards from the top until an orc enemy is discarded, put that enemy into play engaged with the first player. This is immune to player card effects and gains Surge. Each player must choose either discard a questing character you control or raise your threat by 1 for each questing character you control. This is obviously another advantage of Nenya and Hobbit Ponies and Rosie. So that's 2 points of threat and 1 point of threat. But it surges into another plane of Gorgoroth. So I've added 5 threat to the staging area. Did not have to make any additional Fortitude tests, so I can add all of my extra willpower. That's 5, 7, 14 extra willpower. So I'm making 11 progress again. 4 here, 7 here, and I can't get more than that. No. I could get an extra 2 from Halfling Determination, but that would not be enough to actually get me to the point where I could travel to Mount Doom. So this is fine. Orc Hold. The right deck is first player for me to go here. And it is the most threat in the staging area. So I think I should do it. The only bad thing about this is there were some annoying cards in the discard pile that I knew I would not be seeing. But you know, I mean, the encounter deck is random. I mean, I'm discarding some annoying cards now, and will not be seeing them. There we go. There's an orc. Okay, that does not ready Sam. I can ready him with Unexpected Courage. I still don't have to engage the orc captain, so I won't. Haldir now attacks for 8 against enemies not engaged with him, so the orc captain is dead. This I can definitely defend. This is not worth using a feint on. And I'll just pay a resource from Nasia's pool to increase her defense. And Haldir can take out the little snuffler. Okay. Extra threat. Frodo crosses the table. Remove a resource. Control N. Extra draw for Círdan. Test of will. I think this time I do keep the test of will. I have plenty of resources to pay for it. That's not a concern. And getting another Hobbit pony to put on Sam would obviously be nice, but risks involved with that. Okay. So I can definitely play this Dunedain Remedy. Yeah, actually, I guess there's no particular need for me to do all the healing now. I can just have it available. So I'll just put it on Nasia because she is the one who I definitely want healed. And Rune Master to give her an extra resource there. Extra threat at the end of the planning phase for a heavy burden. And make the Fortitude Test. This time I don't have a Lembas on Círdan, so I will use Frodo. 4 cards, 5 willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 4. 4 icons, 5 willpower. I pass the test. Threat in the staging area is 4, 6, 10. Questing. So, just a note, I'm using the Unexpected Courage ahead of time in this instance because I want Sam to be ready for Fortitude Tests, because when I have to make Fortitude Test, I have to immediately exhaust the heroes, and then there is an action window after discarding the cards. So I can't ready him when I have to make the test. I have to ready him in advance. Whereas last round, Frodo was over here to take the test. So it was fine to just exhaust Sam so he could potentially get his ready from his ability and save the Unexpected Courage. Right, yes. So 5, 8, 13. With the usual extras that I can add after the fact. I could quest with Haldir, but I might want 2 attacks out of him. But we are definitely at the point where I could consider it. We're very much at the point where I should consider it, right? Because this round I need to push through the quest so that I can travel to Mount Doom. Because I need to be at Mount Doom next round so I can complete the quest before I run out of resources. So, just to be as safe as I possibly can. 16 willpower. We reveal. Okay, so this is... okay, so it's 2 threat for both decks this time. But also this surges. But this is a very good treachery to have immune to player card effects. I could have had much worse treacheries that I would have been unable to cancel. All cold and foul fumes. Each player makes a Fortitude Test. No thank you. I do not want to lose that many hero actions right now. And if you fail this test, deal 1 damage to each character you control. That would kill Mablung and Galadriel if I failed it. And also blank the text boxes of damaged characters. That would be horrible. Well, actually, it would only blank Sam, because Mablung and Galadriel would be dead. Anyway, oh no, it damages everyone. It would blank everyone who was still alive. Right, so I've added 3 threat to the staging area. Yes, because I revealed 2 treacheries, one of which was a threat raise, one of which I cancelled, and the Orc Hold. So, I'm currently making 3 progress. I need another 5, which just so happens to be Frodo's willpower. So that's fine. Yeah, I don't think there was a better way to do that, because I could have done Rosie and Halfling Determination, but that would only be 4. I would still need 1 more, so yeah, just Frodo. So I make 8 progress. 4 here and 4 here. I have not defeated this quest stage yet, because I have to travel to Mount Doom. So there is at least 20 progress on stage 3B, so I can travel here. Each player makes a... I forgot that it was each player, but okay, so first player first. And it is not the quest phase, so I can't use Nania. So I'm just going to go like this, 12 willpower. This should be fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. So that's fine. I'm just going to make it active while I'm doing this. And then over here we have, I should just go all out, 5, 7, and I can add Rosie afterwards. 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5 icons. Add in Rosie. 7 willpower. I pass the test. Now Mount Doom is the active location, so I have defeated this quest stage, which means the long defeat will go off after I resolve quest advancement. He was come to the heart of the realm of Sauron, and the forges of his ancient might, greatest in Middle-earth. All other powers were here subdued. Dire. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top until X enemies are discarded, where X is the number of players. Oh dear. Add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. I don't remember there being a bunch of enemies here in the book, but, you know, sure, whatever. This could cause me some problems, but I had to do what I had to do. So, what enemies will I get? Big Uruk, have to engage that. And a Ring Wraith of Sauron, which I do not have to engage. That is nice. Okay. Dire. Allies cannot enter play, and when revealed effects cannot be cancelled. Forced. When Mount Doom is explored, the first player makes a Fortitude Test. Discard 1 extra encounter card for each player. If the first player fails this test, the ring bearer claims the 1 ring and the players lose the game. If the test is successful, the ring bearer completes the quest and the players win the game. So, okay. And the long defeat goes off. Honestly, I'm not sure that drawing more cards will matter here. Although, actually, I also have a ton of resources to shuttle this Dunedain Remedy around, so maybe I do just take the cards. Actually, yeah, Gildor's Council. That's nice to see. Okay. So. Okay, let me think about this. So, at this point, all I need to do is explore Mount Doom. I don't need to deal with these enemies. I only want to deal with them to get them out of the staging area. But I only have one feint. Right. Yes, and this deck is first player. If this deck was first player, then this would actually work out, because I could optionally engage the Ring Wraith, and the big Uruk would just come down here. But if I optionally engage the Ring Wraith, the big Uruk will come down here. And so the thought was, if I could have them both here, Haldir can one-shot the Uruk, I think. Yes. And then I could just feint the Ring Wraith. And I don't need to actually kill it. It doesn't matter. And ready the Ring Bearer. Firstly, it's an enemy engaged with you, and secondly, it's ready the Ring Bearer is a cost. You cannot pay costs with cards you don't control. Also, I don't have Fellowship resources to play that card. So yeah, okay. I have to just take the big Uruk and accept that I will still have the threat of the Ring Wraith in the staging area. Mablon gains a resource. Yeah, no, I just raised my threat by 4. Yeah, no, I had to raise my threat by 4. Unless I wanted to just kill off one of my heroes. Which I could have done, but regardless, the point is I'm going to raise my threat by 4 at the end of the round anyway. So I will regardless be in like 60-something threat. So I will be discarding 6 cards for the Fortitude Test when I explore Mount Doom. So, okay. Yeah, Haldir uses his ability. He attacks for 8 at ranged. The big Uruk is dead. I don't have to take the attack. Okay. 3 extra points of threat. 2 extra points of threat. Remove a resource from the campaign card. Control N. Extra draw for Círdan. Discard Gildor's Council, because I already have a Gildor's Council and there's no point having 2 in the same round. Okay, nothing actually matters here. Well, none of these cards matter. The only thing that matters is my questing at this point. So, at the end of the planning phase, I raise each player's threat by 1 for a heavy burden. The threat in the staging area is... Oh yeah, Mount Doom is no longer there, that's nice. 2, 4, 6, 9, 12. So I'm definitely questing for 3, 8, 10, 13, 18, and I'm playing Gildor's Council. Oh no, I do not ready Sam with Unexpected Courage, but I am questing with him. Yeah, okay. 18 versus 12. I need 9 progress, but I have more willpower to add. I'm revealing 1 card. I cannot cancel this, but it doesn't surge That is an advantage of this stage over stages 1 and 3. I can't cancel the treacheries, but they don't surge anymore. First player must choose either exhaust the One Ring and reveal an encounter card, or discard cards from the top of the deck. I'll take the enemy. I don't care about an enemy because the combat phase will not happen. Damn. After all captain engages, you make a Fortitude Test. If you fail the test, reveal the top card of the encounter deck. You know what? Actually, that... that doesn't really... So the alternative for this was to exhaust the One Ring and reveal an encounter card. So it's almost like I just took that option if I fail this Fortitude Test here. On the other hand, if I pass it, let me just think about this. I get a resource on that one and I do ready Sam, but I think I have to take the Fortitude Test before Sam readies because it's forced versus response. Right, so if I'm not adding any additional threat to the staging area, then I just need 3 more willpower. No, sorry, I just need 2 more willpower, which is just Rosie. So I probably could just put Frodo on this. On the other hand, if I then fail, I think it's better for me to... Oh, hang on. Then the Ring Wraith. If I fail a Fortitude Test, the Ring Wraith will engage and make an immediate attack, which would reduce the threat in the staging area, and I could just throw Rosie under the bus. But then I would lose Fellowship of the Ring. So no, I can't do that. Okay, I have to pass this Fortitude Test. So Frodo is 5 willpower. And I'm discarding 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So I need to have more than 7. So we're going to go Rosie for 2 and Halfling Determination for another 2. I should have just exhausted the One Ring and revealed a card instead of engaging the enemy, but I didn't think about this guy. Okay, so I passed that test, which means that this is now the end of staging. Right? Yes. Yes, I revealed the treachery, which caused me to engage this guy, which caused me to make a Fortitude Test, which I passed. And I am 2 willpower short of exploring Mount Doom, but that's fine because I can use... Oh no, wait, that didn't ready Sam anyway, but I can ready Sam with Unexpected Courage. And I didn't get +1 willpower. But that's also fine because I can use Nenya to add this 7 willpower to Sam, who is already questing, but is also ready for the Fortitude Test I'm about to have to take. So, I make 13 progress. That's 9 here, and 4 here that doesn't matter. And now I have to make a Fortitude Test, discarding 1 extra encounter card for each player. So that's going to be 8 cards. And on this I have... Sam is 5 plus Galadriel's 7, so 12. And Frodo is 5 plus Rosie's 2, plus the 2 from Halfling Determination, because both of those last until the end of the phase. So that's 9. So 21 willpower. And I am looking at 8 cards here. Not running out the encounter deck, are we? No, of course, because we reshuffled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6, 7, 8. I discarded Golem. So after he's discarded during a Fortitude Test, put him into play engaged with the first player. Which readies Sam and gives me 1 more willpower, so I'm now 22 willpower on this Fortitude Test. And choose an encounter card discarded for this test and ignore its icons. So I've got a couple of 2s, so let's just get rid of that one. And we're 22 willpower against 2, 3, 4. I pass the test. The ring bearer completes the quest, and the players win the game. Let's flip this over. To the end of the campaign. The first player must choose. Keep the One Ring card and succumb to the power of Sauron. Then the players lose the campaign. I have come, he said, but I do not choose now to do what I came to do. I will not do this deed. The ring is mine. And suddenly, as he set it on his finger, he vanished from Sam's sight. Or destroy the One Ring card and defeat the power of Sauron. Then the players win the campaign. The realm of Sauron is ended, said Gandalf. The ring-bearer has fulfilled his quest. And as the captains gazed south to the land of Mordor, it seemed to them that, black against the pall of cloud, there rose a huge shape of shadow, impenetrable, lightning-crowned, filling all the sky. Enormous it reared above the world, and stretched out towards them a vast, threatening hand, terrible but impotent. For even as it leaned over them, a great wind took it, and it was all blown away, and passed, and then a hush fell. So I guess, strictly speaking, since I'm playing in Octagon, I do not have a physical One Ring card to destroy, and therefore I cannot win the campaign. You could debate that. It's a neat point. It's a nice little ending to the campaign. I know I've seen people, when they do this, I think people have posted photos where they've ripped the card in half, or videos where they put it on the stove and burned it, and other stuff. The best I can do in Octagon, unless I edit something into the video afterwards, the best I can do is, I guess, delete it. But it's still in a discard pile somewhere. But yeah, that's the best I can do. So you decide whether you think I won or lost the campaign. Regardless, I have ended the campaign. If you enjoyed this, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. This has been